we are going to spend probably 40% of our time just cleaning and structuring the data, because that is the most important part. These are the common columns or common fields you have when you collect data from anybody. At least go ahead with this. This is just the initial stages of cleaning. The entire notebook is going to read the zip files in the folder. So you start by collecting options data and also underlying data. So when I say option data, it's about what contract you want to deal with. If you're dealing with options that belongs to index, you start by collecting index options. And for that, the underlying data would be index options data, right? Or I must say index data. If you are dealing with equity options, you collect the equity options data and you also collect the equity data. The reason is any kind of decision or a strategy you create on options, it's closely related to how the underlying is moving, isn't it? So depending on underlying analysis, you come up with your option strategies. So we pick the most complex options data, most unstructured data, because if I drive this lecture with a clean data or from a data from a premier provider, but when you go to a sub-premium provider, you would face issues. So that's why there are additional steps here. We are going to spend probably 40% of our time just cleaning and structuring the data, because that is the most important part. But if you put it in a data frame, the data you have seen looks like this. It has many columns, and it's not completely readable. For example, this is not readable. It's in Unix time, and I don't completely agree with the way the columns are there. So I created this slide, which is common for almost all data providers. At least this data you get from all data providers. Some data providers might give you additional data, but these are the common columns or common fields you have when you collect data from anybody. So the first thing is it's going to give you an underlying assets information. It's going to tell you what is the underlying for the options data you collected. And then it's going to have a field or a column that tells what is its strike price. So the price at which the option is exercised. It's going to give you the date of expiry and the type of option. Is the data belongs to call or put? That also will be a field or a column. Then it's going to give you bid and ask prices, what is the open interest of the contract, what is the implied volatility, and options Greeks. Not everybody might give you options Greeks, but yeah, most of them actually gives you options Greeks. So this is a standard, these are the standard fields or columns you would have when you collect data from any options data provider. Let's start with cleaning the options data, because if you want to create a code, it should be easy for you to actually call these columns into your code, right? So just follow standard approach. Maybe use all lowercase letters instead of uppercase letters. Remove any spaces it has. And also, if you feel like you need more columns to explain this properly, maybe add additional columns also. So now it is at a decent stage now. The column names are clearly understandable. I've added one column which I might need in future, and I deleted the columns that are unnecessary. So I can at least go ahead with this. This is just the initial stages of cleaning. This cleaning is done for presentability and also for accessibility, right? Some outliers we can do analysis, some outliers we can remove. If there are NaN values, you don't need to remove every single time. Sometimes you can replace the NaN values with a nearest value. For example, this is more useful when you have 1 minute data. So sometimes the contract is not traded for like say 5-10 minutes. So then you don't get the data. In such case, you might as well just either delete the rows, or if you want to retain the timestamps, for example, you don't want big jumps in timestamps, maybe you replace with an average value of today, etc. So depending on the case, we are going to do the filtering and the last steps of cleaning. So after we run all this, the entire notebook is going to read the zip files in the folder extract the text files, read them, merge them into a single data frame, clean the columns, clean the data. It doesn't just stop there. It's going to filter the data based on liquidity, and it's going to check for all null values and attend for that. And finally, it's filtering only the near month contracts and saving in your local system. So that is the whole objective of this particular notebook. So that whatever file we got, this is the data we are going to analyze or use for our options backtesting.